We ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yay.
Good evening. We're going to bring the Tuesday, March 23rd Historic South Park meeting to order. We will start the meeting the way that we always do for the people in attendance to introduce themselves. I'm Mark Keller, current president of Historic South Park, reside on Morton Avenue.
I'm Jill on Park Drive. And Hickory.
Very good. Our numbers are few in person this evening, but it looks like we have a lot of people logging in and attending virtually. So welcome and thank you. We will begin with our neighborhood safety update. I believe we have Officer Bunch still with us, sir.
Yes, sir.
The floor is yours.
Okay, so I sent the stats over to Tracy earlier. It looks like pretty much, I shouldn't say stats, but I guess that's what they are. Looks like everything's pretty much down. There's a couple assaults involving domestic violence that are up. That's the only thing that I can see that is up. I know that there was some concerns about the four-wheeler dirt bike kind of thing going on. I actually had the pleasure of speaking with the gentleman there. We were over that way on something unrelated a couple hours ago. And he seemed to think that little park back of the school area thing there was just free game. And I made sure that he understands that that is not the case, I guess, to say the least. I have all of his information. So if you guys happen to see him or his buddies out in that park with the four-wheelers and stuff, don't hesitate to call us. I'm going to put something in the system under his name. That way, if I'm not here and able to respond, then other officers will be able to basically see that I had talked to him already and then take the appropriate action. Another topic was the graffiti. And I spoke with Officer Hamilton and Officer Velez about doing some kind of cleanup painting stuff. They indicated to me that the city will generally come up with some paint for us or your neighborhood to use. Sometimes about once a year is, I guess, the going rate. She said, Officer Hamilton said that it could be more, but again, with COVID, it's, everybody's trying to count their pennies where they can. So as of right now, she said we could do a cleanup once a year. If you guys have some kind of a area that's getting hit kind of hard, they could also come out. Her and Officer Velez could also come out if we didn't want to do like a Saturday kind of cleanup paint session. That's something that they could do just during their normal work hours if it's a small little area here and there. So do you guys have anything for me or to piggyback on that?
I have a question about the four-wheelers. What is, with them driving on the streets, is that legal? Is it?
It is not legal
Okay.
to drive those on the streets. They are not street legal, and that's kind of that he was going to go back onto the street and go to that park, but that was not the case. He actually listened and put it up. According to him, being the guy that was riding the four-wheeler earlier, he does not live there at that near corner house where those trucks are. He supposedly lives up off of North Dixie, somewhere in the county, and I politely asked him that he just go back home and ride his four-wheelers up there because that would be no longer our problem.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Abby, is there any other questions listed anywhere?
I was going to ask the same thing. That was it.
All right. Looks like there's no other questions for Officer Bunch. So one, thank you for the updates. Thank you for the information. Thank you for attending. And again, thank you for your continued efforts and time and commitment to the neighborhood. as many people are aware, based on today, there was a lot of police activity in the neighborhood. Again, that activity is based on us as neighbors collectively calling in, identifying and reporting the problems. So as much inconvenient as it is to go online to the various social pages and give commentary about perceived or actual problems in the neighborhood, unless we alert and bring those problems to the attention of the appropriate authorities, which very often is Dayton Police, they don't know to address those. So again, just a reminder to the neighborhood at large that with the assistance of DPD and committed officers such as Officer Bunch, we can continue to make strides in the neighborhood to make it a better place to live. So Officer Bunch, thank you again. And I'm sure you'll hear from us if any ongoing issues.
Absolutely. You guys have a good night. Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you. Do we have Miss Woods, Cheryl Woods, present from Miami Valley Works? All right. Looks like she is not going to be joining us this evening, so we will move right along. It's my understanding that the meeting notes for February have been posted. Any updates, changes, corrections that need to be made for February's meetings for minutes? And not hearing or seeing any, we'll so move forward to adopting and approving February's meetings minute. Go ahead, Rachel.
I move to accept them as is.
Second.
Done. Reports from the board. Housing, again, a lot of activity online as it relates to housing. What's appropriate, what can you do, what can you not do? Stay tuned for that. Holly Hornbeek will be attending and speaking at our next general meeting, Tuesday evening, April 27th, to go over some of the specificity as to what requires a certificate of appropriateness, the COAs, the green papers that you must submit and get approved and publicly display for any exterior work that you're doing for your home. Again, the resource is what's commonly referred to as the Blue Book, or the book for historic rehab within the city of Dayton. PDF copies are available online at the city of Dayton. Feel free to review those. Paper copies likewise are available. But again, if you change doors, change windows, get your roof done, paint side, install, remove fence, driveways, sidewalks, garages, essentially any exterior work to your home, you do need to get a COA. Many of those are very easy to obtain for basic things. More involved home projects require a little additional paperwork and plan, but they're there to ensure that all neighbors abide by the historic guidelines within the city, and ultimately to ensure the attractiveness of the neighborhood as well as the home values in the neighborhood. So it really is worthwhile. We'll talk about that more in depth when Ms. Hornbeek is here next month.
If anybody wants to speak up to claim one of the 5 or 6 blue books that we've got in the storeroom right down here, I will deliver them tomorrow. Is anybody on?
Galen also shared the blueprint for rehabilitation and positive approach to guidelines.
That's the official title. Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
Does anybody want a hard copy?
Change your mind, print it up. Tracy, anything to add for safety, crime prevention from Officer Bunch?
Just that I'm in somewhat regular correspondence or contact with him. So when issues pop up, if it's something that I might miss on the patrol page or the discussion page, because I'm honestly not online every day, if somebody would just flag me or direct me to what some of those concerns are, I can certainly make sure that I have the conversation with him so he's aware. The quad thing, it just happened to work out to our advantage that he was in the neighborhood today and actually witnessed those quads too. And that was because I'd sent him a quick text with some of the concerns that we had earlier in the week. So sometimes it's just a timing thing. So the more that I'm honestly not online, the officers know or are aware of, like, the more beneficial it will be to us as a neighborhood. Honestly not online, because when you're in and around the neighborhood, you know, just doing the regular patrols or, you know, warrant or whatever they might be doing, writing tickets. I hear some cars go to it today. It at least allows them or lets them keep their eyes open for other activities as well. So it worked to our advantage today, and hopefully we can continue the progress and just make sure that we're all just making choices that, you know, are beneficial to the neighborhood and absolutely beneficial for the quad thing to everybody's safety. That's it.
Very good. Thanks, Tracy. Parks.
Oh, is it Parks already?
Parks already, you're up.
I always have a lot of thanking to do for all the good volunteerism and donations that neighbors contribute to parks, because as you know, it's our responsibility to take care of our landscaped areas. So I would like to call out Mark Manovich first for taking upon himself to clear the edges in South Park Green of that little brick walkway that goes down the hill. He just decided on his own to get out there and tidy it up, and it looks great. So thank you, Mark. And then I had a team come out and help me start work on the beds. So I need to thank Luke, Jesse, Nick. Mark came out for that too. I need to thank Deb Hutchins for cluing me into a possible donations from First Flowers. I want to shout out to Courtney Colburn. Does Courtney happen to be on with us? She's working on the annual Earth Day neighborhood cleanup event. In the meantime, in honor of our neighbor Wanda Lacey, thank you, Courtney and Wanda, for doing Wanda Wednesdays, which looks like people have been picking up tons of litter. And I've noticed it. I've definitely noticed it. And people have been telling me that they've been doing it. So thank you, everyone. Also, is Luke Wurtenberger on there with South Park Urban Garden? Okay, Luke sent out a note saying that if you want a bed in the community garden, now's the time to ask for one. As far as parks in the future, it's spring, so we'll be sending out more requests for help soon. Probably the next big project will be mulching, but we have to approve the budget first before I can start spending neighborhood money on mulch and new plants.
That's it for parks. Very good. Thank you, Jill. Is Sarah on?
Yes.
Social.
Hi, everyone. I am. Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. If you hear a baby mobile in the background, I've got my little one, so sorry. You'll probably hear some background music playing as well, but I'm happy to be on and say that I have taken on the role of social chair. So I'm very excited to join the board. I wanted to note that, Philip, I know you do a lot of work for families here around in the neighborhood, doing fun events, and I know Easter's coming up, so that was one thing I did see you posted about in the discussion, and would love to talk about how we can help in that way. But because, you know, things are looking up and positive with vaccinations. My hope is that, we can evaluate in late summer what potentially events we'd like to see. Social distancing still in place. I'm certain that masks will still be around with us throughout the year, but I would love to see, as the weather is warming up now, ideas that we can do to get people out and about. I believe someone just recently posted about a concert idea as well. Would love to, I can send a message to that individual and connect on ways to make that happen in the right manner. But if we want to chat through some upcoming things and ideas, I'm definitely happy to take the lead on that. And again, Philip, help you with any of the efforts with the unofficial fun committee, as I think you call it, and how we can support that.
Is Philip on?
Very good. And again, welcome, Sarah, for joining the exec committee as social chair. Happy to have you, and look forward to working with you and the fun activities you have in the works. So thank you again.
Come on,
Caitlin, marketing.
Hello. So I have been helping Jill with a couple projects in terms of new neighbor paperwork and just like a new neighbor welcome, because I know it's been challenging virtually. And then in addition to that, Mark, I know you mentioned this before, but on some of the unofficial South Park pages, there's definitely been a lot of unfortunate, words between neighbors. And I'm just really hoping that in these next couple weeks, we can remember to be respectful of one another and take into consideration that we are all neighbors, and try to work things out as neighbors before we take to social media. I know that's just been a kind of a general problem worldwide with everything going on in COVID world. So no big notes for marketing right now, but just something to keep in mind.
I do have a marketing related question. Caitlin, you know how the neighborhood has an Instagram account?
Yes.
It needs feeding. So I was wondering, should we ask neighbors who are really, good photographers who want to take happy pictures of the neighborhood? Like there's lots of dogs and cats and adorable babies out and about right now. Should we invite people to post to our South Park Instagram account?
Yeah, absolutely. So with Instagram, that is kind of controlled by just one person, but what I can do, that's a really good concern. So I will go ahead and make maybe a Google Doc form where people can submit their photos just with their name, and then also giving us permission to share those on their behalf.
Excellent. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. And thank you again for the reminder that we can all be a little more civil, especially amongst our community, and doubly so with our neighbors. Heath, anything on the membership side?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate these social media comments we just made. I mean, a good rule is if you wouldn't say it to somebody face to face, don't say it online. And be careful with your neighbors, because there are people who are going to be in your bubble for a long time. So let's try and get along. From this membership drive perspective, folks can go online now and to the South Park Historic website and hit the membership button and go ahead and sign up for membership and pay your dues online. Or if you'd prefer to mail them in, there are instructions there on how to do it. Nick Vanderpool and his block captains and I, probably next weekend, and if not next weekend, since he's getting back on Friday from a trip, maybe very early the following week, we'll be out door to door putting the hard copies into people's mail, screen doors and doorknobs, so that they'll have that to notify them as well. So we're on the cusp of it.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have some old business that we need to address that Jill alluded to. We need to approve the budget that Holly spoke about earlier this year. So do we have a motion to approve the 2021 budget for Historic South Park? Motion made by Abby, second. Any objection from anyone to the proposed budget? Seeing and hearing none, it is so approved. Holly, anything to add regarding either the budget or any housekeeping matters as it relates to finances?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
The only thing that I would like to reiterate, and I mentioned it, I think in February, there was some concern because we had an unbalanced budget. I was showing income of about $33,650 and anticipating expenses of a little over $5,100. And there was some concern I heard in the neighborhood about it being unbalanced. And I would like to point out again, if for anyone who didn't hear it before, we received an anonymous gift from a neighbor of $1,500 to make up the difference. So if all goes according to plan, we have a balanced budget. And as always, I tend to err on the side of caution. So hopefully we will have a positive cash flow. So I think everybody should be fine with the budget, even as it stands. Did you, while I'm on here, did you want me to just give a very quick treasurer's report?
Sure.
It's very quick and simple. We have basically one income item, and that was dues of $138. And our ending balance as of February 28th, 2021 is $10,335.20. So we are very solvent.
Very good. Abby? Betsy and Galen, floor is yours.
This is Galen. I just wanted to say that there's really nothing inherently wrong or evil about a budget that is not balanced. You can't do it too many years in a row. Right. But if you have a cushion, someday you need to spend it, or you'll always have a cushion.
Noted. Thank you for those words of wisdom as always. Holly, anything else to add?
I'm done.
Very good. We've heard from the majority of the exec board already. Any other commentary from the exec board this evening? Looking like there is none. Any new business, anything that would require a vote from the general membership? We have no open or existing old business. Any new business that needs address?
Yes. A neighbor asked me to make a motion regarding dog waste on the boulevard. This winter, many neighbors noticed that despite our dog bag stations, which many of the neighbors and volunteers told me have been very successful in helping to lessen the dog waste problem. I guess during the winter there was some backsliding, which caused people some concern. So a neighbor researched a possible solution to that problem, and I'm going to make a motion according to what she came up with on her behalf. And it is, I make a motion that we discuss hiring Pet Butler to clean the boulevard of dog poo once a week for $60 a week. Boulevard only, to keep the dog poo off the boulevard. So that's my motion to discuss that as a solution.
What's like the time frame? Are you like weekly for the whole year or just in the
Somebody has
spring?
to step in.
Oh, second discussion.
Okay,
All right.
the motion has been seconded, so now we can discuss it. Okay.
Sorry. What's the time frame? Is that through the whole year or just in the spring?
It's $60 a week for whenever you want to schedule it. It could be a one-time cleanup. If we were going to have a boulevard long event and we didn't have enough volunteers or the neighbors weren't picking up dog poo, that's an option.
There's two things for me, is with being right next to the green. We're only focusing on the boulevard, forget the rest of the neighborhood. And secondly, if people know that somebody else is coming out to clean up a poop, they're not gonna pick it up. And then they're gonna get in the habit that when they walk the rest of the neighborhood, they're not gonna pick it up. So.
So we're purely at a commentary or Q&A phase for this. As president, I would be interested in more details. So yes, it's $60 per event or clearing up. I would assume there's some type of contractual engagement or requirement to a minimum time. That may or may not be the case. Frankly, I would just like to see much more information about the various services or the service requirement for this, as well as perhaps a quote from other vendors, purely from a economic or budgetary standpoint. And then just as a personal standpoint, let's hear what the general membership has to say about this before I interject my personal thoughts.
I did, when you said with the events, I don't think that it's necessarily, if you don't have to be contracted to have so many weeks, it may not be a bad idea to have them come out right before, like if they do the music concert or have them hit the green before Shakespeare. Like one of our big events, have them come out and make sure that it gets cleaned up so no one's accidentally stepping in it. But on a weekly thing, I think people can get lazy.
I don't disagree with that. Any other, Tracy? Tracy?
Oh, somebody's got their hand up. Oh, Tracy, you can't hear.
I think she's froze.
Oh, and I will also tell you that because I made the motion, I'm not allowed to argue against it.
There, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Hello?
Go
Okay,
ahead.
so I understand like concerns with, targeting just the boulevard versus all areas of the neighborhood, but I think the boulevard is its own special entity because of the way that the boulevard and the sidewalks are configured as a central, gathering space or walking space, where the rest of the streets tend to just be sidewalks and yards. I know back in the day, when my dad was a little more active physically in the neighborhood, when there were events and things that were happening, we had neighbor call outs for like poop patrol, and like before the Easter egg hunts, somebody would have a call out for, we need 5 people to come and pick up dog poop for an hour. And, he went, it wasn't his favorite task in the world, but, little kids stepping in dog poo also wasn't like a great thing either. So I think part of this is based on, do we have groups in the neighborhood that are willing to do it? And if not, then maybe, using a service is an option, in conjunction with special events and things that are happening.
Very good.
That's all.
Any other commentary at this point? David?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. I lived in this neighborhood for an awful long time, and I've never seen so much dog poop picked up in my life, and those trash cans get full to overflowing. I think people are doing a good job. I can't see the neighborhood spending our money on paying somebody else to do what we should be doing ourselves. If anything, I'd say let's put out some larger signs that along the boulevard if it's that much of a problem, and have people actually not be afraid to say something when they see somebody not picking things up, because we've got the bags, we've got the trash cans. It's a behavior, and I think, you know, we'd rather spend the money on, you know, prizes for kids stuff or for marketing or for any number of things, but to pay somebody to do what we should be doing is just kind of ludicrous to me, and that's a lot of money.
We could probably bring these to vote. Here's the, unless you want to.
So how do we determine if we have a quorum based on what's
Oh,
present?
okay. You got me.
You want me to motion to table this?
If you are inclined to bring a motion to table for further review and discussion, motion made to table for further discussion and inquiry based on some of the discussion that has occurred, and we certainly can bring it back up.
Are you seconding or are you questioning?
Erica?
I would like before we table it, Sarah Moore said that someone could be ticketed for not picking up their dog waste. I'd just like an answer to that before we table.
Yeah, that's absolutely is correct. That is a ticketable offense. There is a ordinance in the city of Dayton, so that is city code. It's also a health violation. So persons can be ticketed, can be fined, both civilly via code, as well as a ticketable offense by Dayton police. I would assume the Humane Society could issue those as well, but DPD certainly can. So again, that's another avenue for enforcement. And again, as was mentioned multiple times by multiple people, we're all neighbors. We all live in close proximity. You know, part of the attractiveness to this neighborhood is the sense of community, is the sense of neighborliness. So again, get to know your neighbors. There's lots of new neighbors. As you see, there's lots of homes that have been sold recently. Get out and introduce yourself. Welcome them to join HSPI and get engaged in whatever way they feel comfortable. Likewise, if you see them doing something out of turn or against neighborhood guidelines, maybe they're not aware that they need a COA for home remodeling. You know, you can walk up, introduce yourself, and give them a friendly reminder. Likewise, if you see them not adequately or appropriately addressing animal waste, a good step is to introduce yourself and remind them. That's a great first step. And if other steps are required, we have that option as well. So I think communication, as in all relationships, are key and critical. So, you know, we're as diverse as we are, and I think that really is one of the strengths in the neighborhood. You know, we all essentially want the same thing. I think we can universally agree that we don't want dog waste in our parks, on our sidewalks, and I think collectively we can find a way to resolve this. So certainly appreciate the discussion regarding contracting or servicing this out. You know, yearly that would be $3,120. Probably would not avoid the problem of dog waste throughout the entire neighborhood. So sounds like we've had some initial discussion, and seeing as motion and second, any objection to shelving the discussion to a further and later date based on additional info. And hearing and seeing none, we shall do the same. It shall be shelved for a later date. That said, any other announcements or public comments this evening? Philip, welcome. Please introduce yourself.
Hi. Hello, everybody. I'm sure a few of you, if not quite a few of you, have either seen my posts on Facebook or my signs around the neighborhood. So I've been remiss in getting to these meetings, and for that I apologize, because I had intended for quite some time to get on here and say hello and kind of get the lay of the land. So I'm Philip. I'm the crazy person who kind of heads up the UFC along with a few other nefarious characters you may or may not know. But yeah, just want to say hello and thank you. I know a few of you personally have reached out and conveyed your support for some of the stuff we're doing. And likewise, I try to support the other things that we're doing in the neighborhood. We're kind of guerrilla fun crew, I guess you could say. That's where we're running.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think that's the gist of it, though. Just want to say hello again.
Very good. Welcome. Good to put a face and name together. Thank you for all your hard work and effort.
Yeah.
As you've seen, you've heard just a little bit of the commentary. So on behalf of the neighborhood and kids, big and little alike, thank you for your hard work and effort.
Yeah, sometimes she gets on the computer anyway.
Galen.
Actually, it's Betsy.
Betsy.
I am remiss in not thinking up a date for our South Park Perennial Exchange. We usually do that one of the second or third Saturday in April. And we did it all virtually last year, but I think this year, we can do it outside masked and certainly stay safe and still share our plants. So look for an announcement on the Facebook page, and maybe we can get an email sent out about that. For those of you who may be new to the neighborhood, it's what it sounds like. Anybody that has perennial plants that are excess in their yard, you just dig them up, bring them to South Park Green at 10 o'clock on the given Saturday morning, and then we take turns picking them and taking them home. So look for an announcement about that coming up. And if you have start thinking about plants you might want to share with your neighbors. We've really benefited a lot of yards and gardens from doing this, and it's all free.
Very good. Thank you, Betsy. And as soon as you have a date for that, we'll make sure we get appropriate announcements out. Say Erica again. Erica, Bruce.
Yeah, this is Bruce. I'm on the board at Emerson, and we joined late, and maybe this was already mentioned, but we just introduced a new principal at Emerson, but he is no longer at Emerson. So we have an interregnum. It's a hideous and twisted tale, but we hope to have somebody new in before the end of the school year. But in the meantime, there's sort of a board of a group of people running it, but we will have somebody in charge fairly soon. So unfortunately, that didn't work out.
Very good. Thanks for bringing that to our attention.
In response to that, Bruce, will you please pass on to the teachers that the way they're handling traffic right now is wonderful at the end of the day?
Did you get that, Bruce? Abby indicated that traffic is good to go. Teachers doing a great job with the school. So,
yeah, I think the new principal wanted to change that. So that's one of the reasons he's not the new principal anymore.
The power of HSPI speaks. Jill, you had some additional announcements?
Yes. Is there anybody there like John Harrelson who can speak to the yard sale? There's going to be a neighborhood-wide yard sale. No.
He is not online.
I think it's going to be the first weekend of May. And is that right? And he's asking for people to sign up. So if you're interested in participating in a neighborhood-wide yard sale, John Harrelson is going to organize it for us again this year.
May 1 is the first weekend.
May 1 is the winning weekend. And that's just one. If we need another yard sale, we're welcome to organize a second one later in the year because everybody's got stuff from cleaning out. So yeah, go to the Historic South Park discussion page and look for John's information about a neighborhood-wide yard sale. And I saw that Sarah Dugan, is there a Sarah Dugan on there by any chance, who is sharing an invitation to join the Sportshul Kickball on Tuesdays down there behind Emerson Academy. Speaking of Burns-Jackson Park and Emerson Academy. I think starting the first week of May, there's going to be kickball teams down in our neighborhood park, which I think they sound like a lot of fun. So again, go to the discussion page and find what Sarah Dugan has posted there. A reminder that David Israti has a lot of soccer equipment available if somebody wants to start up a children's soccer pickup game regularly. And I understand there might be an announcement if somebody's there to speak about Preservation Dayton. Rachel, is that you?
Unfortunately, I'm unprepared at this moment to do so.
Okay.
Oh, are we doing a memorial walk?
Betsy's still on, so the answer is yes, if she wants to say more about it. Betsy, would you like to remind us about the Memorial Day walk?
Yes, thank you. It's on Memorial Day.
We'll be walking.
Yeah, I've actually been kind of doing the research on it, so I might know a tad more about it at this point. We're planning to mark the graves of 4 people who ran grocery storefronts in South Park. In the late 19th century, there was a phenomenal number of grocery stores in Dayton, like several hundred. And of course, they were all little storefronts. And you could get your groceries fairly close. So anyway, we will be marking those graves on Memorial Day.
What you need to know is meet at the front gate of Woodland by the office there at 10 a.m. on Monday, Memorial Day. And if you want to bring some flowers from your yard, that would be great, but it's not required. Dogs are welcome, but they have to stay on a leash.
We've even had cats on leashes.
Very good. Thank you both.
Rachel.
Okay, I'm sorry. You kind of caught me off guard. So PDI Preservation Dayton is looking to gather names or locations for the top 10 endangered historic properties in the city. And they've asked us, as far as South Park is concerned, if there's anything here that needs to be preserved. So if any, you see.
Yes, the Bethany Baptist Church is on the market right now, and I've toured through it a couple of times, and it is a train wreck right now, but has amazing potential. I think I'd like to get on the radar of PDI before an investor would scoop up the property and tear everything down.
Okay. If you would do me a favor, PDI has a Facebook page as well as a website. If you want to just leave a note about the church, that would be awesome.
Okay.
And then I will try to remember to also share that. But as you can see today, I'm not quite prepared for much.
Okay.
Well, in particular, remember that Bethany Baptist is outside the historic district. So there's no protection.
Okay.
But if it's is it considered?
I think it should be on the list. I just wanted to say that it doesn't have that one protection that it would have if it were inside the historic district. So it
Correct.
needs even more protection because it doesn't have it.
Correct, yes.
Bruce, did you have a question?
I just did notice that a for sale sign went up on that church fairly recently.
Yes, and I think
The
that's
one
what.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's what Tracy was indicating is that in really reinforced by Galen that the property is for sale. The internals are very much distressed. And since it's outside of the historic guidelines of South Park, while still within the physical boundaries of the neighborhood, that it's afforded less protection than it may or really warrants at this time.
Yeah,
So I
I'm
think-
with you. I'm just 3 minutes behind.
Yeah. So yes, good point. And it's been whispered to me, Bruce, you indicated something about Gym City Market. Erica?
Yes, we were recently there, and it's really coming along. It's looking great. They should be opening soon. So while I was in transition home on my when you guys started the meeting, that's why I cut out for a little while because I was driving. If anybody had mentioned it or had said when it might actually open, but it's really the stoves are in there, the kitchen part is done, the back part is done. They literally have the stickers where the food should go. So I think they're just waiting on food and maybe a few ceiling panels to go in, but it's really looking, it should be there,
soon
before summer.
Very good. Very good. If you hear a announcement as to when they're officially open, please pass that along. I know many neighbors are members. We'll certainly get that information and give the support of the neighborhood. So thank you. Any other announcements or public comments for the evening before we adjourn? Looks like none written or shown. That said, do we have a motion to adjourn for the evening? Motion made. Do we have a second? Looks like multiple seconds. So granted. Thank you all for attending, both in person and online. Thank you for the continued participation. I think we had some very healthy dialogue and discussion tonight. And thank you for all the hard work and effort to continue making the neighborhood a great place to live. So thank you. We'll see you again on April 27th at 7 p.m. Thank you.